Hello, this is Jeff from FunOutfitters.com with your tech tip of the day. Today we're going to talk about a few things to check on your rear skid frame before your riding season starts. Some things you want to take a look at on your rear skid is you want to make sure your sliders are in good condition. You want to make sure they're not getting too thin. If they are, you want to have them replaced before the season starts. Because if your sliders get too thin, they can get to the point where your sliders will actually wear right through, and your rails could start hitting your track clips, which will wear out your rails, which could damage your track clips, which could damage your track and cost you a lot more money down the line. You also want to make sure you check your idler wheels, make sure your bearings are good in your idler wheels, and we'll check them, wiggle them side to side, make sure your bearings are all in good shape. Just make sure that you have no bad wheels, because if you have wheels go out on the trail, you could cause problems again to your track or suspension, costing you more money. You also want to make sure you check the outside diameter of your wheels. You want to make sure the rubber's in good shape. You want to make sure that it's not peeling off the idler wheel. You want to make sure it's not kind of coming off in chunks or whatever. Just make sure that these are in good shape, because if these two would come apart while you're riding, it could cause you a lot more problems down the line. You also want to take a look at the bolts that run through the rails that hold the idler wheel shafts in place, or hold the arm shafts in place. You want to make sure these are all good and tight. Make sure that they have not came loose in the past and possibly slotted out the holes in the rails. If this happens, you either have to put a reinforcement plate in and drill holes for the shafts, or you may have to put new rails in, to get it fixed, get everything back to where it's supposed to be. Make sure everything's tight and put together. You also want to take a look at your shocks. Make sure your shocks are in good shape, whether rebuildable or just normal shocks. You want to make sure they're not leaking any oil, that they're working the way they're supposed to. If you have a lot of miles on your sled, you want to make sure that if your shocks are getting worn down, if they're rebuildable shocks, you just want to make sure that you have them rebuilt before the season starts. Make sure you have that nice ride that you're looking for out of your rear suspension. You also want to make sure you take a look at all your springs. Make sure your springs in the back are in good shape. Make sure your limiter straps are in good shape. Make sure they're not torn, no problems there. Your adjuster blocks aren't broken. You want to make sure that you grease your rear suspension really well with a good low temp grease. You want to make sure you grease the arms so that everything's moving freely, so that the suspension's working the way it's supposed to before you start your riding season. Again, this is Jeff, FunOutfitters.com with your tech tip of the day. You can reach us at 866-531-0123 or look us up on the web at FunOutfitters.com. Thank you.